evening, Lake Orion. We're here at Benito's Pizza, here in Lake Orion, Michigan. And I am between Taorminas, an Italian style.
Thank you for joining us here at Benito's Pizzeria. Guys, this looks like it might be our last time here for a while, eh? ONTV studio opening up. Could see us at a new location next week. But we're here now, and we're here to talk some sports. Coming up, we have college basketball, Red Wings hockey, a little NHL stuff too. And some Major League Baseball, which gets underway very shortly. So guys, let's start with the Final Four. Thoughts on last weekend? Perhaps what do you guys see moving forward between Kentucky, Louisville,
Ohio State, Kansas.
And Ohio State, Kansas here? Yeah.
Well, I think what'll happen is that a little bit shocking, especially with Louisville being in there. A lot of people thought it would be Michigan State or Missouri. I certainly thought Michigan State would be in it.
Yep.
Ohio State, it wasn't surprising, especially, but it also could have been Syracuse. And then Kansas and North Carolina could have went either way. I'm not surprised with the Final Four, with the exception of Louisville. I do think that the tournament, essentially, a lot of people are predicting Kentucky's going to win it. I'm not too convinced that Kentucky's going to fully win it all. I want to say it will be, if I had to pick between those four teams, I'll probably go with the team that I know most, which is Ohio State.
Interesting.
I just think that Ohio State has the only thing that worries me about them is their depth. But, I mean, you never want to count out Kansas. You never want to count out Kentucky, especially the traditional powers in the tournament. And then you never want to count out Rick Pitino in Louisville either.
Right.
You know what the difference with this whole NCAA tournament is this year, guys? Injuries. You look at it, everybody missed a key player. Let's look at Michigan State, Brendan Dawson. North Carolina, I know, lost, who's that point guard again? Yeah, he lost. They lost him. Syracuse didn't have Fab Mello. I mean, like,
that was an injury.
Not the injury, but the suspension. There were key stars that were missed in this tournament.
And State could have really used Brandon Dawson against Louisville.
Especially against Louisville. I mean, like, if you look at it from this perspective, it could have been a whole other story if those players would have played. But anyway, the Final Four, surprised Louisville's in it. Shocked that Kansas can know and knock off North Carolina. I mean, like, even though I thought North Carolina did play amazingly with house money, I also thought Ohio State, worthy opponent, good opponent. They're a very good team. Kentucky was supposed to. Kentucky's Kentucky. I mean, like, I don't like the way John Calipari does his one-and-done system at all. I mean, like, I can see, but I think Kentucky's going to get the NCAA final. I think they're going to play Ohio State. Because the difference with Ohio State and Kansas, that game they played earlier in the year, they didn't have Jared Soldier. Ohio State didn't, and that they lost by 11. But still, I think it'll be Kentucky, Ohio State. And I think a lot of people want John Calipari to get his first championship. I don't think it will happen. I think Thad Montis is going to get a national championship. Jared Solinger will get another championship. We'll get a championship. And I think he's going to return for his junior year at Ohio State.
A lot of bold predictions right there, huh?
One thing, if we don't mind speaking, I'd like to talk about the CIT because Oakland was in the CIT.
OU.
They had a really good outing in the CIT, and obviously the season's over. It's done. They had a really good season, 20 wins. One of the things going in the Summit tournament was there was that concern about not getting 20 wins, especially with the way they finished in that tournament. They Oakland got a great chance to redeem themselves in the collegeinsider.com tournament against them. They beat 3 very good teams, Bowling Green, Buffalo, and Rice.
Mm-hmm.
And then they went to Utah State. Utah State's a very tough place to play at. They were, I think, 209 and 17 in 11 years at that building at
Wow.
Utah State. And Oakland had a tough outing there, 105 to 81.
They lost to them in the
CIT semifinals.
but didn't they lose? Who'd they lose to in?
The Summit League
Yeah.
tournament, Southern Utah.
Okay, yeah.
And
Well,
Oakland had a really good season. Reggie Hamilton went out strong. Laval Lucas Perry went out strong.
Yep.
I think if you look at it with Oakland's case, 60 points in the first half was just their defense played. I mean, their defense was bad.
But they scored.
But they scored 81 points. 81
40
points is normally good to win games. But still, when you give up 105, that's not going to win you games. You know that.
Mm-hmm. But at the same time, Utah State's a very hard place to play at. The altitude, not making any
Oakland should have
excuses.
experience because they played Southern Utah in that altitude.
Right, but also, too, Utah State's only lost 17 games in 11 years at that building. It would not surprise me if Utah State beats Mercer and wins the CIT.
Tough environment.
Mm-hmm.
Tough environment. All right, so you both have Ohio State winning in the Final Four.
Correct. Yep.
Anything you want to add to that? Tell us kind of why and how in the world you think they're going to beat Kentucky.
Because if you look at it, Jared Sullinger's going to have a good. I think if Anthony Davis gets in foul trouble for Kentucky, I mean, like, they got depth. I know they got Terrence Jones in there too, but I think Ohio State has got experience. They got Buford, they got Thomas, they got who can shoot, who can shoot well. I mean, like, got Sullinger. I mean, like, I think Ohio State's got more. I mean, like, even though people say Kentucky, I think their youth and experience hasn't got to them yet. I think it's going to get them in this tournament.
I think, the one thing that beats the one-and-done system every year has always been experience. I think Ohio State, and I also would say Kansas for that matter as well, because Kansas could beat Ohio State as well.
Yeah.
I'm going to say the biggest thing that can get Kentucky is their inexperience in this environment. Obviously, the only person that's been in this experience is John Calipari and his staff. But if you look at the players, they've not exactly been in this situation. Yeah, they won the SEC, or they were runner-up in the SEC tournament. I think
They
that
lost to Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt was a senior-laden team.
Mm-hmm. I think when they play experience-laden teams, I think
Right,
that
bit of
it
trouble.
can get Kentucky a little bit.
If I was Kentucky, you know what? John Calipari, and people say John Calipari is a good coach, but I think you get rid of this one and done.
He won't get rid of the
I know
one
he
and
won't
done,
get
you
rid
know
of it, but I think it's time for a change and make people stay in college for maybe about 3 years, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, I picked Kentucky, and I just don't think you can beat them. Anyways, when we come back, we'll talk a little NHL hockey action here on Between Taorminas.
Did you know that you can watch ONTV on the web? How cool is that? Just surf on over to www.orionontv.org to watch your favorite on-TV show. A service of Orion Neighborhood Television.
Orion Neighborhood Television has been your community connection for the last 20 years. From local concerts and sports to resident-made original programming, we are the voice of Lake Orion. Featuring a large professional studio, ONTV can provide you with the tools you need to make a quality program. Our staff is knowledgeable, friendly, and eager to help with your program success. Your voice, your community, on TV.
Welcome back to Between Taorminas here on Orion Neighborhood Television. Boys, playoffs are right around the corner. Some of the best sporting events of the year. NHL hockey games.
Mm-hmm.
Playoff hockey games.
Mm-hmm.
The West is kind of mumble jumble right here. You're either
Pacific's a nightmare. I know that. The division's a nightmare.
you're either in like third place or you're out. You know, it's a big heap. So what do we got? Like 7-8 games left in the season for most teams.
Yep.
What do you guys predict as like the 6 through 8 spots?
Well, if you look at the playoffs, I mean, like, it's very tight, especially in the Pacific Division right now. You got San Jose, Dallas, LA, Phoenix are still battling.
Vancouver.
No,
they're
Vancouver's
Yeah,
in the,
I mean,
Vancouver's
like,
on
if you
top
look
of
at the
regular
division, if
list.
you look at the division, like, I know Dallas is the toughest schedule having to play Vancouver and San Jose back to back on the road, and then you got to play Nashville on the road, which is not going to be easy either. But you know, I still think Dallas will get in the playoffs, but it's going to be. I can see Dallas. I mean, like if Dallas can win at Vancouver, at San Jose, beat San Jose twice, then I can really see them getting it. I can see them really getting that third spot in the Pacific Division.
A lot of Dallas talk on the show, and I don't care for it.
I think if you look at it, Colorado's right in the heart of the race. If between a couple weeks ago they were, a couple days ago they were 7th, but they could also be eliminated from the playoff spot. They've had 2 losses in the last, especially to San Jose and to Vancouver,
Right.
which are 2 very not easy teams. I mean, anything could happen.
San Jose is the most overrated team in this
Anything
in
could
the
happen.
playoffs. To be
You
honest
think
with
so?
I think San Jose is the most
I mean,
overrated team.
if you look at it, anything could happen.
So who?
I
do
would
you
like to
think,
see my
though,
Avalanche get in the playoffs, but we're gonna see.
Who gets the 8th spot and 7th and 6th? What do you guys think?
Who I think the 6, 7, 8.
Yeah, Western Conference.
I can see in the 6th spot. I can see the 6th spot. I can see Chicago's the 6th spot right now. I can see them getting that. I can see Detroit getting the 4th spot. I can also, the 7th and 8th spot, I can see Los Angeles. And I know, Ant, you're going to hate me for this. San Jose is going to get that 8th spot.
I think LA is going to
Bo?
be the odd team out. If you look, no, I take the back. I think San Jose is going to be the odd team out. I think that you look at. I do think Colorado, though they've played the most games out of everyone, I do think they will get in. Some hook or crutch get in the playoffs somehow. Well, we just got to see what happens.
Who do you think is their 7th place team to get in the playoffs? Who do you think is going to win the Pacific?
Who do I think is going to win the Pacific?
Mm-hmm. Out of those 4, you got LA, San Jose, Phoenix, Dallas.
I honestly would like to see Dallas win, but I would right now. It's all up in the air.
All right, guys, let's talk matchup. We got the field set a little bit. What do you think is the most intriguing first-round matchup?
I think anyone who
possible.
plays the Wings, it's going to be a very dangerous matchup because of. I've said and I've always said, no matter the seed the Wings have, they're probably the most dangerous team. No, I don't care how good Vancouver is. I don't care how good San Jose is.
St. Louis.
Or St. Louis. The Red Wings have been the team to beat.
Well, when you look at
Nashville. You don't want to play them.
you don't want to play Nashville.
You don't want to play Nashville. I think Nashville, they're young. I think they're a dangerous team.
They are dangerous.
I think if you look at it, if they do play Detroit in the first round, I think Nashville's going to give Detroit a lot of problems based on Detroit's got a lot of. I know Detroit's got a lot of experience, but age is going to be a huge factor in that series. If they do play in the first round. Of the
Well, that's why
playoffs.
we're kind of seeing something unique here from the Wings. Is they're kind of ranked low right now, and a lot of their older players, well, a lot of their players in general are out. And it's my personal opinion that they may be injured, but they may be babying
Waiting
that
for
injury,
playoffs.
kind of waiting for a couple games
Playoffs.
before the end of the year, get their legs back and come back.
It could be the
Jimmy
case,
Howard
but who knows?
is an example of that. Erickson, Lidstrom was out for a while. He just came back recently. So I think this older team needs a little breather. You know what I mean? Especially after winning 23 home games in a row.
It could be the case, but also, it really doesn't matter what seed the Wings are. They're still dangerous.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So as Closet Wings fans, you both think that Nashville is not the team you want to get the first?
I don't want to play Nashville. Well, this is my honest opinion. I don't want to play Nashville in the first round because, like,
If you're a Wings fan.
If you're a Wings fan, I don't want to. I don't want to. No, I'm not. I don't want to play Nashville in the first round. I don't want to play Nashville in the first round. I'm a Stars fan.
Okay.
I don't want to see Vancouver in the first round.
You don't, as a Stars fan.
As a Stars
You don't?
fan, I don't want to see.
As an
Vancouver.
Avs fan, I do. I think the Avs can knock Vancouver off.
I think
Shut up, Boone.
I think it's absolutely insane.
Shut up,
There's
Boone.
no way. All right, so let's move forward a little bit here. Let's say Final Four Western Conference. Who do you guys predict right now as it stands?
The top 4.
In the playoffs. You know, Final Four left in May or whenever.
In what, East or West?
In the West.
Okay, I can see this right now being St. Louis is the 1 seed.
Think they still hang in there?
I think they still hang in there. Vancouver's the 2. I can see Dallas the 3 and Detroit's the 4.
Oh boy. Okay. All right.
I will probably say Vancouver will be the 1. I will probably say the 2 will be. I think the 2 will be St. Louis.
Yeah.
I want to say the Wings as well. I want to say the Wings are in, but I want to say the Wings is the 4, but they might get up to the 2 because of the experience.
Yeah.
And then I will say, either St. Louis or even Dallas goes out in the first round because of the.
I gotta agree with you. I might be crazy, but I think St. Louis goes home early.
Because St. Louis just doesn't have the experience.
No, they don't, and typically your President's Trophy winner does not.
Right.
They don't.
So that
perform
means
too well in
whoever's the
playoffs.
8th seed has a real good chance of knocking out the Blues.
Mm-hmm.
Which,
So I mean,
which I would
Could
be
be
in
the
favor of.
Stars, Kings, Sharks, maybe Avalanche.
All right. Any final
Okay.
words on NHL? Anything right now happening or predictions in the future?
Well, like I said, I know Phoenix has got the easiest schedule, but to get there, but I just don't see Phoenix. I just can't see Phoenix getting in the playoffs based on they've had a couple reprieves. I mean, like I can see Dallas, LA, and San Jose getting in the playoffs.
I'd like to see Dallas. I'd like to see Colorado, and I'd like to see the Wings make the playoffs.
I think you'll see the Wings make the playoffs. Hopefully, that's the only prediction that comes right from now.
No.
All right. When we get back, we're gonna talk a little MLB baseball here on Between Taorminas.
Can ONTV really change the way you see Orion? Can a community hold a talent show to raise mental health awareness?
ONTV, a part of Orion's history since 1986. Video classes are now enrolling. Call 248-693-3377 to reserve your seat today. A service of Orion Neighborhood Television.
All right. Welcome back to Between Taorminas.
On ONTV.
Okay. Yeah. There you go. It's our last segment here on ONTV. Boys, MLB baseball. Season already started with the A's and the Mariners in Japan. I don't really consider that any.
No.
It's nice for the people of Japan, but do you have to do it on opening weekend or opening day?
Well,
or?
don't forget what the people of Japan have had to go through with that earthquake and tsunami.
That's true. That's true. I'd say they should play sometime in the middle of the year over in Tokyo.
Yeah, middle of the year over there. Yeah, I agree. That.
If there's one thing that's special, it's opening day. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's America.
I think they devalued the opening day over that.
A little bit.
They
little bit.
devalued it,
And what also is weird, they have opening night now, April 4th. Why don't they have every team or most teams play on one day? Opening day. One day. You know what I mean? I don't know. Whatever. Talk to Bud Selig, huh?
Yeah, you should talk to your friend Bud Selig.
Ant, call him out. Or Sam, ask him to come on the show.
Hey, Bud, come to the show, buddy. Right here, meet me. Meet me, please, one-on-one. I beg you.
And buy us a big bonito, because we know you can afford it.
Yeah.
Okay.
We've got
Your boy is currently batting 153 in spring. Is that real?
Yeah, that's confirmed. Unfortunately, Brandon Inge is hitting 153.
What's Danny Worth batting?
Uh,
Over 300. Right around 300.
Okay, but I still think Jim Leland is going to give Brandon Inge hope that he's still going to play second base. I still think it's going to happen.
If he does that, I'd like him to give me a swift kick to the teeth because I can't take it anymore. I can't take it anymore, guys. So, all right, you think we see him? I hope we don't. I kind of do think we will see Inge. You know, he's
I'm
destined
playing
to
a
play.
neutral stance. I love to see you two bicker about Brandon Inge.
Well, we'll talk next week, especially
Mm-hmm.
when we're a lot closer. But we're a week away now, okay?
Oh, yeah.
And
Can't wait for it.
getting very excited. Had a little scare with Miguel the other week.
Yep.
He'll play.
They already said he's going to start opening day at 3rd.
Yep.
A little sigh of relief there, huh?
Yeah.
But that event, you saw it happen, right?
Yeah.
You saw the replays or whatever. How do you feel about it? And how do you feel about it with Miguel moving forward at 3rd?
I think I'm relieved that Miguel's all right. You know, Kevby's doing okay. That you know, I'm a little worried about him defensively. What a lot of people say is a defensive liability. You know, I mean, people say that, but also you got to look at this perspective. You know, I mean, like, what would you do if you know, when Prince came on board, I think that the Tigers just got more dangerous. And if you look at 2013, when they get Victor back, oh my God!
On the offensive side of the ball, yes.
Right.
On the offensive side of the baseball, yes. Defense, there's still a question mark. There's still a lot of question marks surrounding the Tigers, especially on defense.
Would you trust Danny Worth at second base? I don't trust Rayburn at second base. You know, I think the guy I trust at second base is Brandon Inge.
I wish we were on the show Around the Horn or whatever it is, where we could mute people, because you'd be muted a long time ago. Look, Danny Worth, I don't know if he's a starting second baseman. I think he's a utility guy. You know who I want to see at second base? Ramon Santiago. Okay? You know who I want to see in left? Well,
Delman Young's playing.
Nah. I want to see Delman DH. And I'd like to see either like a Dirks Rayburn type thing in left. I don't know, depending on who's pitching, you know, because it's one's a lefty, one's a righty.
Right.
But the way Rayburn's been tearing it up this spring, you got to try to see if he can hit this first half, you know, which would be totally weird for him.
Can you see the Tigers right now winning the Central with this lineup?
I could see them winning the Central, yeah, and I don't care who you put at left field. You could put me out there, and they'd still win it, because, you know, the Central we all know is not good, right?
No.
It's been referred to as the Comedy Central.
Earlier a few weeks ago, you mentioned that Kansas City was going to be the second place team.
I still think they're the dark horse. I don't think they're going to challenge for the division.
You got Minnesota, you got Cleveland, you got Chicago.
I think Minnesota and Chicago are down this year. I think Chicago finishes last. Put Minnesota at 4th, Cleveland 3rd, Kansas City 2, and Detroit 1.
Do you think Ron Gardenhire gets fired?
No,
No.
absolutely not.
I think if you look at it, I do agree with some of Ian's proposals, except I put Cleveland number 2, Kansas City 3.
Why would you
And I
put
could see
Cleveland
that.
number 2?
I could see that.
Because Cleveland's got some pitching.
Because Sizemore?
They got Sizemore, yes.
Sizemore's not starting for a while though.
Right, but they're still going to.
Minnesota, you got Mauer and Morneau.
Well, they got Travis Hafner. You know that? Yeah, I mean,
Cleveland does or Minnesota?
Travis Hafner in Cleveland.
Yeah, and then you got Minnesota. You know, Minnesota has a strong case too to finish second. Well, I could see it this year like this: Detroit 1, Cleveland 2, Minnesota 3, Kansas City 4, Chicago 5th. Poor Hawk Harrison. You can put it on the board, yes.
I think
Hawk Harrison, if you're here, I want you on the show. Then we'll talk. They'll probably bring up, you can put it on the board, yes!
you know we could get in trouble for copyright infringement, right?
Yeah.
You gonna pay those fines?
Yeah,
No,
you
I
gotta
will
pay
not pay those fines. I'm broke.
You gonna wash dishes then or something?
Yeah, you'll
Serve jail time?
Yeah, serve jail time.
Jeez.
All right. So, who do you have second in the Central?
I think you look at who. It's pretty much the Tigers. You got everyone else.
Yeah.
I'm pretty much leaning towards Minnesota being second.
Okay.
Mostly because they still have. It depends how healthy Mauer and Morneau are.
Right.
They're still very dangerous together.
Right.
They don't have
And
any
actually,
pitching.
Mauer and Morneau are a subject for a question of the day, I hear. So hold tight on those two guys, all right?
Mm-hmm.
So you think Minnesota grabs the two?
Right. I do think Kansas City could contend in the third spot. And then Cleveland being the fourth, because you said Grady Sizemore is not going to be coming out back for a while. Oh, Cleveland does have some pretty decent pitching.
They do have some young guys too, like Jason Kipnis and Lonnie Chisenhall. You know, they are young.
Right.
Shin-Soo Choo should do a lot better this year.
Mm-hmm.
All right, real quick before we get to our question today, baseball writer Ken Rosenthal
What an imbecile.
picked the Detroit Tigers to win the World Series over the Diamondbacks. Last year he picked the Boston Red Sox over the Atlanta Braves. Now stay with me here. Boston and Atlanta both had epic collapses to not make the playoffs on the last day. Is there a curse there from Ken Rosenthal picking the Tigers?
Yes.
Are you scared?
I'm a little bit scared. I'm a little bit scared because, like, I question Ken Rosenthal as a sports writer. I question him as a person. I think that, how are you? I understand how you get your stats, Ken Rosenthal, but let's look at it from this perspective. You curse a team, you curse the Red Sox, and look what happened to Boston. You curse the Braves, and look what happened to Atlanta. Ken Rosenthal, stop making picks and focus on the season. Thank you.
It does scare me, but I don't think the Tigers are going to collapse.
Let's knock on wood, just in case. It's all knock on wood right now. Thank you. Okay, question of the day comes from Sandra in Duluth, Minnesota.
Ooh.
Sandy would like to know, will Justin Morneau and Joe Mauer rebound this year?
Yes.
You think so? Healthy for the majority of the year?
I think if you look at it, Morneau and Mauer are going to, what's going to really kill the Twins this year is their pitching.
Lack of pitching?
Lack of pitching, but they're going to be hitting. They'll hit.
I want to say yes because I picked Minnesota to finish second. A large part for that is because of Mauer and Morneau will be back healthy. I do think that it was a one-time thing where they were not healthy. They were out midway through the season, both of them. But it really depends how much Minnesota depends on those two. If they depend on them for everything, then the Twinkies are going to be.
It also depends on the ballpark they play at. Target Field, it's a nightmare for hitters. Let's look at Joe Mauer's stats last year. Joe Mauer hit 1 home run at Target Field. 1. When they play at the Metrodome, Joe Mauer hit about, maybe about crazy gaudy numbers, like 30, 40 home runs at the Metrodome. There's a huge difference. There's a side effect difference playing at Target Field and playing at the Metrodome.
I think Morneau, he's got too many injuries, still dealing with concussion-like things from last year. I think he's kind of done, or at least in the field, which will open him up to play DH. And I think they're going to have to move Mauer to first, which will help him out a lot.
And who's going to play catcher?
Well, I think Mauer's been wanting to play first for a while.
Right. He needs to. He's too much value to that franchise.
Right. Also, I think his knees are about giving out.
Exactly. All right. Anything further to add here on the topic of Major League Baseball? Anything at all?
No.
No?
Nope.
Nothing.
Nothing.
Wow. Okay, Ant, take us home.
Well, Tigers, just get it done.
Thank you. God bless. We'll see you next week from a new location on Between Taorminas.